Greetings, code traders. It is currently Thursday, January 17th, 9:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So we're about to go into Friday here. Here's what the daily looks like right now. This is a CL update. Here's what the daily looks like right now. And you can see that it's been in a tight range for a while. Ever since it moved up this big move here, from here on, it's been in a very tight range. And it's a matter of when is it going to break out of this range. Well, since I'm not doing the Code 2 charting anymore, which I usually always give a daily update on what it's likely to do, which I'm going to do again in the future, although I'm going to do the charting in a bigger and better way than I ever did before. But what I wanted to do is just give all of you a quick update here through YouTube that right now it is setting up perfectly to be a specific trade that I've seen happen many times, especially lately, like over the last year or so. And that is that this thing is setting up to make a big move higher on Friday. I mean a big move, like 400 tick move or a 300 tick move, some type of a large move like that, possibly even larger than 400 ticks. It could be a very big move up like this here. So I just wanted to give you the heads up that right now, as it looks right this minute, it looks about perfect. Now it may look different when the time comes for trading, of course. It may even be up higher when the time comes for trading, like 6 a.m. in the morning, which is not for another 8.5 hours. Or, 8.5 hours. So it could change between now and then. But right now, it is setting up as about as perfect as it's going to get to make this big move higher. Now, if it's going to make this big move higher, it's probably going to look very much what it looks like now. And then what will happen is when this trading starts, all of a sudden it'll just start shooting up and it'll just continue. And it'll make a big move higher relatively quickly. But it's also possible that it could just creep its way up higher and higher up until the trading time of 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time for the USA Open. Not for stocks. Stocks don't open till 6:30 a.m., but oil will start moving at the 6. So anyway, I am all over this trade coming up. I'm looking to hit a big trade, and in fact, you could even start using code 3 entries now to get long. You could use just about anything, but you could use a code 3 entry to get long. And use a code 1 if you needed to, or use a halfback technique. I wouldn't bother with any of that. You really just want to get long here. Here is the 10 minute. This is another way that you can tell. What will happen is that, by the way, use the special. It's using the special right now. So anyway, what will happen is, since it's gone up like this, and it hasn't gone down at all since that time, so it's been quite a few hours now, over 12 hours since it made that move. And since it hasn't gone down at all, and if it continues to not go down at all, what's going to happen is, let's see, let's the daily zoom in a bit. What's going to happen is it's just simply going to continue to go higher. And then at some point, right around the USA session, it's going to make a radical move. Probably use the code 2 to do it with. So what's the code 2? Well, the code 2 appears to be the special. So that doesn't come until a while. So I'm not sure. It may wait until then, till the special, and then make the radical move. If you see that happening, you don't want to miss it. Just get in. Use a code 1. If you don't know the code 1, uh, uh, the special is most likely the code 2. So if you know the code 2, you can take the code 2. If you don't know the code 1 or the code 2 and you're using code 3, then use the code 3. Use the code 3. Just get in. Because if this is the trade I'm thinking it is, which it really looks like it right now, it's going to take off. Like about 400 ticks. Make a radical move up. So, look at it in the bigger perspective here. It moved down for almost 2 months. Almost a 2-month move down. I've been trading oil and seeing oil since 2009. And actually it might have been 2008, late 2008 maybe, is I think when I first started watching and trading oil. And then, well anyway, so I've been trading it for a long time, for what, 10 years. And I've never seen a move down like that for almost 2 months without it making a radical move back up again. Now it did make a radical move up here. That was only the first one. And it made a pretty decent one here. That was only the second one. We need at least 3. So we're looking for a third one here to make an even bigger radical move up, like sort of like a capitulation. Or it may not be a capitulation, it may just be a radical move up followed by another radical move up. Now I've seen this happen many times. Like for instance, even here you can see we had a big move down, and then small moves down, smaller moves I should say, and then another big move down, that was 2, and then another big move down, that was 3, and another one, that's 4. Had quite a few, 5, 6. On this run, we've had 1, had 2, looking for a third one here. Where's it going to come? Well, I've been doing the charting for years now, charting out the code 2. And lately, for the last year or so, it's been moving up, making a big move on Wednesdays for the news, or Friday, especially on the upside. On the downside, not so much, but on the upside, Friday. Now normally, oil used to go down on Friday all the time, about 80-90% of the time. Used to be an easy trade. They don't do that anymore. And now all of a sudden, when they do make the big move up, it's on Friday. So here we are in Friday. We've gone sideways for a while. We're looking for a third big move higher. I think the mathematical chances of it happening this Friday are good. I don't know the exact mathematics on it. I wouldn't even really want to guess, but it's good. It's a time to watch and look for, and if you see it happening, jump in. Because it may happen very quickly, too. In other words, nothing will be going on. It doesn't look like it's going to do anything. Just keeps going sideways, not doing nothing. And then all of a sudden, it'll start. And when it starts, it's just going to start going. And if you miss it, you're going to miss it. So that's why I'm trying to give you the heads up and the warning and the everything. The chances of it making a big radical move up on Friday this week, today, it's Friday for me here. I currently have 12:37 p.m. on Friday already. But for USA time, it's what I told you. It's actually 9:37 p.m. Thursday, California time. So anyway, these trades, they don't come around every day. Alright? They don't come around every day. And they don't come around every day where you can actually see them coming like I can. So I'm just trying to give you the heads up here. Trying to give you a little heads up to say, hey, watch out. It very good chance it's going to come. Get ready to hit it. I'm ready to hit it. Okay, from time to time I'll come back and give you more updates like this on if I can see what I think oil is going to do. There are times when I can see it pretty darn good and times when I cannot. And so when I can see it pretty good, I'll come and tell you. And you can realize how accurate I am at this. And when I do the charting again, you can come back in and just do the charting just for that purpose alone. But my ability to be able to call what it's going to do before it does it. And I'm not talking about the code. I'm talking about the at the chart level, on the daily chart. You can use the codes to get in, but hit big trades. Like for instance, when I was doing the charting, right? I was hitting the whole entire time. I was calling it out in the charting. Every time it would make a big drop and everything like that, all through here, I was calling it the whole entire time. I called it to go short all through here. I called it to go short. Every single one of those bars right there, I called to go down even further and to go short. So I was nailing it the whole entire time. The whole entire time it was going down. And that is all documented right now within the charting service that I was doing it the whole entire time. And I will show publicly now that I can do it now. Often. Very often. I won't always be right, of course, but I'll be right enough that you can see that you could be very, very profitable, very, very profitable from listening to what I have to say about what oil is about to do. And one of the reasons for this is because A, I broke the code to it, B, I've been watching it trade for 10 years. And also on top of that, I've been doing the charting service, charting it out every day since 2012. At least since 2012, so that's what? 7 years. 7 years I've been doing that for. When you chart it out every day like that, you really get a lot of experience on what this thing does because you see it every day and you study it every day. But I'll come back out with the charting for breaking the code 1, charting out and of course breaking the code 2, and then also charting out the code 3, and then comparing mathematically all kinds of comparisons. Which one is doing the best, which one's making the most ticks, which kind of entries are working, what's the accuracy on a halfback technique, for instance. All different kinds of ways we'll analyze it so that you can see mathematically at a glance what the percentage is, what it's working. So what's hot and what isn't. So you can use what's hot because all of that will change over time. Sometimes the halfback technique will be working really super good. You want to use it. Sometimes it won't be working at all. You won't want to use it. And it'll go in patterns like that. So by charting it, we'll see the pattern, see what's working mathematically, and then be able to display that very quickly and easily, which instruments are the best, what's working on which ones, what time, when are they moving? Asian, European, USA? Sometimes it's the Asian that they move for a week or two. Sometimes it's the European that they move for a month or so. And most of the time it's the USA session that they move, depending of course upon the instrument. And I think that that kind of charting service will really be what would really help, because you can take the code 1 on many different instruments, and I don't mean like free trading the code 1, I mean actually taking the real code 1, mathematically figuring it out, so that you can take a precision level trade, and we keep track of what it's good for, mathematically. That way you know what to go for. Also, you could use that code 1 entry, possibly, sometimes you can, sometimes you couldn't, into a code 2 trade. Just depends. And when you can take it as just a code 1 trade, then you just take it as a code 1 trade. When it also happens to be a code 2 trade, then you take it as entry and use it as the code 2 to get the big trade. Then of course track the code 2 as always. Give my daily video for what oil's about to do, go up or down. Then of course we know what the code is for the code 2 by figuring it out, and then do the code 3 charting and do all the comparisons between all the different instruments, because at certain times certain instruments get hot Like for instance, let's say gold. You know, a few years back, gold got really hot, ran up to $2,000 an ounce, and it was moving. I did a course on it, a Code One course. I still have that, and it was really, really, really moving. When instruments get hot like that, you certainly aren't going to want to be ignorant of it. You want to know about it and know how hot it is, see it on paper and say, ooh, that's hot. Okay, let's go. You don't judge it by what people are talking about or anything like that. You just look at the mathematics of it. The mathematics show that it's red hot. You want to get in and take advantage of that money, use the code 3, see the charting on it, blah, blah, blah. That's how tracking it could be so well. See if the halfback technique is working, anything, all things. Going to analyze it in many different ways. Of course, I can't personally do that, so I've got to get people set up to do it. But once I have that, I'll offer that as a service again, and but it'll be much bigger and much better than before. So this has been a CL update, and again, to reiterate, the mathematical chances are high right now that this thing is going to make a break above this high up here and make a run. So I'm looking at a possible run of about 400 ticks here. I've seen this happen many times, and I am giving a heads up now that it looks good for this to happen. Now, of course, it may not happen, but at some point it will happen. Whether it breaks high, whether it breaks low, it's going to happen. But since I've been doing this for so long, I can see them coming before they come. And I'm saying it looks very, very good right now. And I personally am preparing to take the trade and go along with it and hit a big trade. I'm going to hit at least 200 ticks, maybe 300 ticks, maybe even more, just depending upon where I get in. You got to measure this bar now. You got to say, okay, what's the low? And then what's the high? Measure the ticks. The bar should run 350, 450, something like that. Maybe only 300. It's a possibility. But it's going to run. Like for instance, what's this one? The low is 42.52. The high is 47. So 43 would put it at 400 ticks. And then 52. So 448 ticks. That's a lot, 448 ticks. So you see, they can run quite a bit. So we're looking at 350, 450 ticks on that bar if it runs. Chances of it running, I think, are very good right now. It's setting up about perfect. About as perfect as it can go. It's also acting perfect. In other words, it sits up here. Doesn't go higher, doesn't go lower. It just sits up here like it wants to just sort of die. That is a perfect sign that it is going to go higher and make a run. I've seen it happen more times than I can count. So heads up, everyone. Look for an oil to break out and make a big run on Friday. Okay, I'm going to go. Happy trading, everybody. Use the codes. You can't miss it with the codes, right? Especially code 3. But hey, code 2, even code 1. I'm going to come out and start trading all the codes so that I can show publicly what the codes can do. It's not just about code 3, and it's not just about code 2. Code 1 is also incredible. And when you see code 1 working good, you should be using code 1. When it's not working good, then just simply use the code 3 or just use the code 2. You know, I have a really good technique for the code 2 now. I need to update the code 2 course and teach this technique because it works really super good. Anyway, I'm going to get going. I will see all of you for some more trading. Good luck on Friday. Happy trading.